Alright, welcome back. Now in this video, we will be going through the solutions for PSLE 2021 Mathematics Paper 1 Booklet B. Let's get started. Now, as you know, the first 5 questions of Booklet B are 1-mark questions. These are typically very simple questions. However, simple as they may be, you still need to be careful in terms of like conversion of units or decimal places or place value, stuff like that. So make sure you get all these 5 marks without losing anything. So therefore, I would advise students not to do mental sum when they're solving this, because you may tend to do so thinking it's very simple. Just write out the working. It will take you just a few seconds to do so, like what I've just done here. So I wrote out my long addition steps here, and I got the answer 604. Okay, now as a reminder also to use pen in your writing. Don't use pencil, because from 2022 onwards you got to use pen, and don't use correction tape, because they'll be scanning this all the papers and they will be marking it via the scanned copy. Now next one, see, addition question followed by a subtraction question. These are all your place values. You must know how to move the digits around and just subtract this and you get 1.13. I won't be going through this in details. Now next one, question 18, divide. Now one common error I notice in students is they often think that they have to divide the larger number by the smaller number. That's not the case. So here it is 7 divided by 8. How do you do this? Well, 7 divided by 8. Here's how it's understood. 7 divided by 8. Then this is a test of your multiplication knowledge also. You must know that 8 times 8 is 64. You subtract this, you get 6. Bring down a 0, 8 times 7, 56. Subtract this, bring this 4 down, bring a 0, 8 times 5, 40, and you have no remainder, and this is your answer. So your times table need to be good for this. If it's not, then make sure you have your own way of getting the times table figures out at the start of the paper. Now this one, they ask you for lines of symmetry. Now the clue here is in the question, right? It's the plural. It says squares, so you must have more than one answer. Okay, so if it's a line of symmetry, then here you will notice you can actually draw out the line of symmetry like I've done for you. So this line divides this shape into these two equal mirror images. Similarly, this line divides this half and this shape into two halves, and which are mirror images of each other. So the answer for this will be Q and R. Next one. Now Aisha paid $15 for 20 stickers. What is the cost of each sticker in cents? So there are two things that children can go wrong here. So first one is, again, you may divide the bigger number by the smaller number. That is not the case. So here I would advise you doing your proportion, writing it out this way. 20 stickers, alright, cost $15. And so second mistake will be in the units. Because if you forget to do the unit conversion, you will just lose the mark. And because these are just 1 mark, there's no mark given for method, only for answer. So it's very, very important the answer mark must be obtained. So one sticker will be 15 divided by 20. And then you have your 3/4, and this is all in dollars. I simplify, it's actually in dollars. Of course, it's 75 cents. Another way you can do this is change the base here to 100. Right, times 5 is 75. Therefore, this is your 75 cents. Okay, that's another way you can do this. Now we go on to the 2-mark questions. So this you have a chance to get a method mark. Definitely show your method just like before, but this time even more important, because even if the answer is wrong due to some carelessness, you still get your method marks. First one, find the value of 2/3 plus 1/5. Again, as mentioned, this is actually last year real paper, PSLE paper. The question can be that simple, so just make sure you don't lose marks through carelessness. Alright, so let's take a look. So let's change the denominator to be the same, and then multiply the top. Alright, so here 3 times 5, 2 times 5, 10, 3 times 5, 15, 1 times 3, 3, and then you add this together, you get your 13th over 15th. 13/15, right? That's your fraction here, and that's the answer for A. Now B, expressed as a mixed number. Mixed number means it's a mixture of a whole number and a fraction. So firstly, expressed as one whole and 14/100. Now here, the careless mistake will be forgetting to simplify. So the examiner already reminded you, you must express in the simplest form. So simplify, divide top and bottom, numerator and denominator by 2, and you have this value, and this of course will be your final answer. Next one, let's go on to question 22. Now question 22, one common mistake notice students will make is that they use their eye power. No? They just use their observation skill and try to determine which one is a smaller angle. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. And that's why you have a set square with you. Just measure it using your protractor. Use your protractor, measure it. And they say name the smallest angle. So there's only one smallest angle, not more than one. This is your English part here. If you measure, you'll notice that E is the smallest angle. So those who got answer like C or A is because you use your eye power. You didn't use your protractor to measure it. Next one, name two angles that are greater than 90. This is much simpler. For example, the angle here is right angle, right? Just need to put it here. Oh, so it's very clear D is larger than 90. I put it here for instance. And it's very clear that angle B is also larger than 90. So here there are two answers, B and D. Next one. Now, find the area of this shaded triangle. Now, we're presented in this way, so we get confused. Alright, you may think that this is the height, this is the base. No, let me just rotate this triangle around to this more familiar orientation. And you notice that the height is actually at right angle to the base. And you don't count the dotted line to be the base. So this part is the height, 15 cm. And this is the base, 18 cm. So it's a triangle, so you need to multiply by half. So half times base times height, and you get 135, and that is your answer for this. Let's go to the next question. Now this one says that there's several cities and there are different temperatures there. So when Faisal was at some cities, the temperature was 12 degrees there in those cities. Now you were told that sometimes the highest temperature is the city is 17 and lower is this. So 12 must be in between. 12 must be in between these two numbers. Okay? And here they say name the cities, plural. That tells you the answer must be more than 1. So 12 is between 10 and 17. 12 is not between 16 and 31. 12 is not between 19 and 33. 12 is between 5 and 26. So the answer for part A will be city A and city D. Now name the city with the largest difference in temperature. Again, don't be lazy, work out the difference, right, like I've just did so here. Simply 17 minus 10, just subtract, very simple subtraction. You can tell that the difference here, city D is the one with the largest difference of 21 degrees. So that's how you present your answer here as in 21. Now, next one, let's go on to question 25. Now, Mrs. Tan had a bottle of oil. She used an equal amount of oil each day. At the end of the 4th day, she had 880 ml of oil left. So this tells me that after 4 days, she had 880 ml of oil left. Equal amount tells me that, so every day equal amount, so each unit here is equal in its value. But I do not know how many units make up 880, so I can't divide by that equal number of units. Never mind, I see on my second clue. At the end of the 6th day, she had half the bottle of oil left. Very important clue. That tells me at the end of the 6th day, so 2 more days, right? 5th day, 6th day, then there's half the bottle left. If half, so this is also half, right? So if half the bottle is 6 units, the other half must also be 6 units. So the whole bottle will be 12 units. So this tells me this part is also 6 units. Alright, this part is 6. This part is 4, so difference here is 2. So how is this useful? So now if this part is 6, because half is 6, let's see. So 880 is now 1, 2 plus 6 is 8 units. That tells me that 8 units, so 880 divided by 8, I have 110 is 1 unit. So how many liters of oil were there at first? Well, there were 12 units for the whole bottle. So 110 multiplied by 12, I'll have 1320. And we are supposed to express answer in terms of liters. So I have to change this milliliters to liters. So I just going to divide by 1000 and I will have 1.32 liters. This 0, no need to write. There's no value for that 0. And that's how you can get the answer and the method mark for this. Next one, question 26. Find the value of the breadth of the rectangle. So what you can see is that, remember, a rectangle has opposite lengths are the same. So this length are actually equal in length. That means that I know 5x plus 15 is actually 50 cm. I simplify this algebraic equation and I get x is actually equals to 7. Once I have x is equals to 7, I substitute x is equal to 7 inside here to find the value of the breadth. That's what I'm supposed to find, right? The value of the breadth. So 4x minus 6 is actually 4 times 7 minus 6. Once I get to this part, I must now use my knowledge of order of operations. I do multiply first, so I get 28. Then from left to right, I have 28 minus 6, I have 22 centimeters. And that's the answer for this. Next one. Now, Ursha builds a solid using 8 unit cubes. The front view is shown here. Now for this question, it's not difficult, but sometimes people lose mark because they drew this without a ruler. If you have no ruler, use a set square. Use something, okay? You got to draw straight lines. Otherwise, you have no method marks for this. No answer mark for this. So from the side view, notice that the base, there are 3. Top right hand side, there's 1. Middle top, there's nothing. Top left hand side, there's 1. So that's how you see this as your answer. 1 mark for this. Now the second question is a bit interesting. Find the greatest number of unique cubes Ursha can add to the solid without changing the front view and the side view. So in other words, the front view, the side view should still show this, and the front view should still show this. Front view, should still show this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what can we add? So I look at it from the top. So from the top view, I add to the base, I can add this 4. From the side view, which is this side, I can add 2 more. That 2 is here and here. So the base is underneath, is here, what I meant earlier on. That 4 I can add is here. And then 2 on top here. So that makes 6. And then how about the front view? Here, right? And I will see 1, 2, 3. So if I add 1 more here, I'll still see 1, 2, 3 on top, right? 1, 2, 3. I can add 1 more from the front. And therefore, I can have 7. So from the front. So I have 4 plus 2 plus 1, I have 7. Can I add 1 more here on top of this? Cannot. If I add 1 more here, no problem with the front view, but side view, there'll be a problem. Then there will be another block here. So I cannot add 1 more on top here. So 7 is the answer for this. Let's go to the next question. Now this question, this kind of question, you got to fulfill the conditions. First, you must draw a triangle. Secondly, the triangle must have the same perimeter as A, B, C, D. And thirdly, 2 lines must be equal. Now all these conditions are meant to help you to draw, plus you will definitely draw a shape that the teachers can mark. There will be no alternative answer, there's just one answer. So I've highlighted it to show you, I've forgotten to do one thing. Can you tell what I have forgotten to do? I've forgotten to label the triangle with the point R here. Okay, that is also important. Now, since we are told that the perimeter must be the same, there must be 2 pink lines and 2 yellow lines, green lines here. So I have 2 pink and 2 green lines. Now, how do I know these are the pink lines? Well, I see this pink line here is actually across these three squares, right? One corner to another corner of this rectangle. So this is a rectangle with a corner to the other corner. This is another rectangle with one corner to another corner. I don't need a ruler to see that these 2 lines are equal in length. Okay, I've done QR, Q, P, P, Q, Q, R. Oh, I think I just realized I did it wrongly. So you see, carelessness can happen even to teachers, right? So I'll pause this for a moment so I can just fix the problem. Okay, now how did I spot the problem? So this is a lesson in checking your work. So you notice here PQ is QR. So earlier on, remember I said I forgot to do something and I forgot to label it. And because I didn't label it, I didn't check it that, oh, so this condition means PQ is equal to QR. My mistake that I put in for you to see is I put in PQ equals to PR, which is not what the question said. That's why this is the wrong solution. The correct one should be this. Alright, let's check again, right? They say that the parameter must be the same. So two pink lines, and two green ones. Now again, same method. This rectangle here in 3 square, one corner to the other corner. Rectangle, 3 squares, one corner to the other corner. Rectangle, 3 squares, one corner to the other corner. So these two lines are definitely the same in length. How about the breadth? How about the shorter line here? So here, you notice this rectangle with 2 squares, one corner to the other corner. One rectangle with 2 squares, one corner to the other corner. So this is one rectangle with 2 squares, one corner to the other corner. One rectangle with 2 squares, one corner to the other corner. And then I fulfill the condition PQ is equals to QR. I fulfill the condition of same perimeter because, yeah, as you can see from what I've highlighted for you. And this then will be the correct answer with 1 mark. Okay, now let's go on to the next one. Find the ratio of the area ABCD to the area of PQR. So this way you do your moving of your shapes, right? So here you can see that there is actually, you can do by calculation also. What's the area of this? Well, you can think there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1. So what's the area of the first top half here? Is half times base times height, which is 2.5. And then what's the area of the bottom triangle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the base, height is 1. So half times base times height is 2.5. So total area is 2.5 plus 2.5 equals to 5 units. Of course, you don't have to calculate, right? You can just count and shift. Oh, this I shift up here. I have 1 square. This part I shift up here. I have 2 squares. Okay, maybe this part you can combine this part you combine with this part, 3 squares, and these two you combine, get 4. Okay, combine the squares. This one over here get 5 squares, and you have 5. That's one way to do it. So there are 2 ways to do this. Same thing here. If you do the same thing, you also get a 5 in the area. So the ratio area is actually 1 is 5 is to 5, but ratio is like fraction. You have to simplify. So you have to simplify it into 1 is to 1. Okay? Now let's go on to the next question. Now, student has a box of blue beads and red beads in the ratio of 7 is to 13. She removed an equal number of blue beads and red beads from the box. The ratio, the number of blue beads and red beads left became 1 to 3. What percentage of the beads were left in the box? So this is how you understand the question by looking at the model. So the idea is to not rush into doing this, just understand it first. So beforehand it was like that. Okay, there was a certain number, and then after they remove the same number, right? They remove an equal number. So what does it mean by removing equal number? So you see, this is the equal part. Equal, this part equal, and this part will remove, leaving this part, which is 1 is to 3. What do you notice about these two models? The difference is the same. Where before you removed it, and after you remove this, the difference is the same. That is a big clue to solving this, right? The difference is the same before and after. Using that, now I write out my ratio. So at first it was 7 to 13. We're given blue is to red is 7 to 13. The difference between these two is 6. 13 minus 7 is 6. And later on, after removing the same number of bits from each of the blue and red bits from the box, it's left with 1:3. Alright, and the difference is 3 minus 1 is 2. Since the difference is supposed to be the same, I'll change this to 6 so you can see the same difference. To change 2 to 6, I multiply 2 by 3, I get 6. 3 times 3, I get 9. 1 times 3, I get 3. So this is the final ratio of blue and red bits in the box, which is 3:9. Now I know that the total number of bits there at first, total is actually 20. And total left will be 12. So the percentage of the bits left will be the number of bits left. The fraction is this, number of bits left over the number of bits at first. Simplify to 60%. I like to go to base 10 because one is base 10 is very easy to see. 6/10 actually means 60%. Let's go to the last question now. So in this figure, the perimeter of the 4 rectangles R and square is 144 cm. They are joined to form a large square in figure 2 with a different perimeter now, 56. So this 144 cm, what does it made up of? It's made up of 1 length, 2 lengths, 3 lengths, 4 lengths, 5 lengths, 6 lengths, 7 lengths, 8 lengths, and 1 breadth, 2 breadths, 3 breadths, 4 breadths, 5 breadths, 6 breadths, 7 breadths, 8 breadths, and 4 sides here. And that is 144. 8 lengths here and 8 breadths plus 4 sides is 144. How about this one? I have my 1 length plus 1 breadth, 1 length plus 1 breadth, 1 length plus 1 breadth, 1 length plus 1 breadth is 56. That tells me 56 is actually 4 length plus 4 breadth. Now this is to be solved using an algebra method. And how do I know this? Typically when I can't find a figure that fits to it, I find that this is easy to be solved using algebra. Now I need to subtract away, remove as many of the unknown letters as possible. Very easy right here. 4 can become 8, 4 can become 8, again I can subtract it away. How do I change this? I multiply by 2. I'll have 8 lengths plus 8 breadths, I times 2, I have 112. Then I subtract the first row by the last row. 8 minus 8 is 0, 8 minus 8 is 0, 4s minus nothing is 4s, 4 sides, 144 minus 112 is 32. Okay, so 8 minus 8 is 0, 8 minus 8 is 0, 4 minus nothing here is still 4, 144 minus 112 is 32. Now I have 4s is 32, so 1s is 32 divided by 4, and I get 8 cm. And that is one side, which is what we're supposed to find, one side of the square. Now a similar question was done in the specimen paper, question 6, paper 2. Similarly, we also use algebra to solve this. So be familiar with this method of using algebra to solve questions. This one was for specimen paper, paper 2, question 6. Alright, now this is the end of this video. All the best to you for your PSLE mathematics or for your revision.